And listen up, I have one of the greatest episodes that I've ever created. I've had a cast of awesome people that join me. We have Matt Bowman from PE Bowman, Coach Meger from Coach Meger Productions. We have Coach Corey Martin, awesome chase master, Nick Williamson from Be Well Played, and we just talk about so many things, but mainly the focus is the inspirations of our video, the creative process, how we create our videos, where we see these videos being used in the future in physical education. So listen to this clip.
To close it off, I'll say my favorite thing about YouTube and this whole process is just meeting people, all sorts of people from around the world. That's why when I made my website, I had to put that page, Worldwide Impact. It's a little globe. You go there and it leaves a little mark on my page. You can see the outreach of PE Bowman. It's been fun meeting people from everywhere. Like tonight, this has been awesome. I want to do this again. It's been fun meeting Nick, Cole, Corey, George. You guys have been awesome.
And without further ado, I just can't wait for you to watch and enjoy the show. Please remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment, tell me what you think. If you'd like to be on the show, or if you have any questions for the show, because I will have these people back on. They're such great human beings. I think Matt Bowman never stopped laughing. Have a great day. Enjoy the show. All right, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Coach Estrada PE Podcast with guests of all kinds of greatness. Go ahead, boys, and introduce yourself. Let's go Nick first, and Cole, and Matt, and hopefully we get Corey in here by the time we finish up.
There we go. Nick Williamson. I run a website called Be Well Played, and I teach out of Kansas City, Missouri. And let's move on to Mr. Bowman.
All right. I am PE Bowman on YouTube, Coach Bowman, Mr. Bowman in class. Call me Matt if you want. Run my own website, pbowman.com, and make videos with my family. We are the PE family, the Bowman family. So that's us.
Love it. And I'm Cole Meger out of Plano, Texas. It's my 10th year teaching and coaching, 7th year in PE, moving from high school sports. And I run my own website as well, coachmeger.com. And it's awesome to be here and chatting with everybody. And I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, I think you're the only one that hasn't recorded with me in the past, Cole. So you have a what do you call it? New toy syndrome. You know, I got to poke at you first. You're gonna get the first digs, and then we'll rotate to the other boys because they've all had the chance to answer. Where do you get your inspiration, and do you storyboard, or do you just throw something together because you have no idea what you're doing? Now that you've been doing this for, you said over, what, I don't know, 10 years of editing? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I've been doing editing, and I used to do travel vlogs and stuff for one of my friends has a bison ranch, and we've been growing his channel on the side. And so I've been kind of messing with the whole social media for a while, but just got into PE videos 3 years ago. But really, I mean, my inspiration is kind of just comes from ADD brain of something I want to use in class, and then coming up with an overall outline in my head, and then it just kind of throw it up the wall and stick. What sticks, I kind of keep. And after working with Matt a couple months ago, it really opened my eyes to like the benefits of drawing out what your outline is on paper, and then just having a more organized approach to it, and not spending so much time at the editing table, because sometimes it'll take me 8 or 9 hours for an edit that should have taken me 4 or 5, just because I'm just going up and trying to create it as I'm going, just through a rough outline. So it's, just bouncing ideas off of him was really helpful for me to like kind of get an idea and a different perspective of that process, and to kind of just streamline it and be a little bit more efficient. But that's also, I think, where some of my best stuff has come from in the past, is just not being stuck to something and being able to edit it in flow. And kind of leave something that I had as an original idea, where if I did have a strict outline, I might not have added something or implemented something that I was kind of in the moment during the edit, or I pulled up Envato and was able to pull out a tool that I didn't even notice before I started the edit. So there's kind of a balance of both, but I think going forward, there's definitely going to be a little bit more of an organized approach to my whole process.
Matt, I thought I was going to scare you when I sent that list of all my things. I'm very detailed. I'm like, I need you to do this for 7 seconds, and then you're going to do this for 10 seconds, and then you're going to do, it was all scripted, all planned out. So I didn't know how you're going to take that. I'm like, all right, here it goes.
It was perfect. Honestly, it really, I mean, it took a lot of the guesswork out on, I think, both of our parts, and being in the virtual world, just being able to send that out and tell me exactly what you needed. and it's going to save me time and trying to figure out what I wanted to film myself doing. And hopefully it saves you time in the editing process of not having to ask me 2 or 3 times from stuff. I kind of got to get it all together and then just shoot it over to you in one email and kind of be done with it. So
yeah, that's the plan.
Right.
So Matt, I would say has, I don't know, it depends on the day, but Matt probably has the most experience in certain items. Is that how you do it, Matt?
Well, I've been video editing for years, but yeah, I've done so many photo shoots. It helps to have everything timed out exactly what it's going to be, what I need, and it just makes editing easier. Post-production is the hardest part and takes the most time, but if you can film right, like Cole said, if you film better, you can be better in post-production. It's a lot easier.
Absolutely. Nick, you just piece it all together? Because these boys, they've never listened to you. You know, these guys are excited.
Yeah, when I was recording for the green screen, I definitely learned the hard way that you want to have a plan before you start. And yeah, I kind of moved away from doing that just because it was, I would spend so much time like editing or re-editing. And so then I moved into games like Snow Fright and Paradise Valley and things where I would only have to record a very small like snippet of myself in front of the green screen to just like illustrate an action or something that I wanted kids to be able to do. And yeah, so I'm not doing quite as much filming and refilming anymore, but I learned that the hard way.
No, I love the little black man. Just the outline of a fella doing something. It's simple and it's clear for the kids, and they can visualize it, they can process it, and they know the expectation. I don't know. For me, I'm still working on my process and streamlining it, like everybody is. You always try to, streamline and rotating and having different projects. Cole, what is your overall end goal with your website? And then, because you 3 boys have websites, eventually I'm gonna get my own website. I'm not gonna compete. We're gonna have different products, different content. Right. But what is your overall end goal, Cole?
Initially, it was really just I've noticed that online, there's really not a whole lot of free stuff for PE. And even with Open Physed, there's great ideas to draw from, but I just wanted to kind of add my own, flavor on it and offer when COVID hit. And even before COVID, I just wanted to offer everything out for free just to get resources out there for PE teachers and just kind of have fun with my passion projects of editing and making videos. I actually grew up, in the same town I'm living in now. One of my best friends, he left his corporate job to go do YouTube full time when I was in my first year of teaching and coaching, and they blew up huge. And now they're one of the biggest channels on YouTube, Dude Perfect. So, I took a lot of inspiration from him and just kind of saw how they just started out with fun and just doing it for fun and just giving everything away for free and not having necessarily a business model or anything as an end game. And then after, with COVID hitting this last year, I've had school districts reach out to me and kind of ask to do PDH and trainings, and if I have any products that they could buy or memberships for a website. So it kind of planted the seed in my head of, this is a real business. This has real potential. So let me just keep giving it out for free right now and just growing off of it and using them as, the users on my website as beta testers, and kind of help me refine the process and still continue to give that stuff away for free, but also find a way to create some private content or members only content that I can provide to school districts as a curriculum piece when they, hire me to do their PDHs. So that's kind of my end game is that part of it.
This is a very sharp fella.
That takes so much time. How do you find the time?
Honestly, I was telling George the other day, when I used to work in like insurance and financial services, I took a year off of coaching to do that. And the guy that trained me with that, he always used to say the same thing: is everyone has 24 hours in a day. We all got the same time. And kind of like I told George yesterday in our little pre-chat, the only people that's not true for is you guys that got kids. If you've got kids, you don't really have the same amount of time. But I've got 6 rental units in Dallas. I helped my buddy run 10 cabins up in Oklahoma and a bison ranch and do his YouTube channel that's blown up. It just passed 100K. So, I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I'm also, same thing I shared with George yesterday, is finding the balance and not burning myself out, because that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is at the end of a long year, trying to push out 3 or 4 videos a week. It's just a lot of sleepless nights, and then waking up and chipper right back up at 6 a.m. because I've been back at school since August. So in Texas, I've had 70 kids in the gym, 6 classes a day since August, while also teaching 30 kids at a time, 6 classes a day for the first 10 minutes synchronously. So I've got my synchronous kids for 10 minutes while my co-teacher's out there doing the warm-up with my class. And then I send my synchronous kids to the asynchronous work with you guys helping us out, getting all these videos ready that I can send them to do when I'm back in the gym. So it's been a crazy year, and just kind of embracing the grind and trying to be willing to, if I want to live a life that, very few people have had, or have experiences that very few people have had, I've got to be willing to do things that very few people are willing to do. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And after talking with Cody and, the Dude Perfect guys, that's what they did for years and years. And then all of a sudden it pays off. So just having the faith, and a lot of it's, a lot of my faith comes from my background, growing up in the church, and kind of just Proverbs 11, and, a generous man will be refilled and your cup will be refilled. So just having the patience and the faith to just keep going and plugging away, and knowing that in the end, it will all come back, and it will all, return. And it does fill your cup up. When you are generous, it's contagious, and people just spill that right back into you. So, it's the same thing that all y'all are doing. Everyone here is a grinder. So y'all live that life. And you guys with kids, that's a whole nother level. So
yeah, shout out to these 2 boys with their, children. And before we go back to you, Cole, I want to go ahead and ask Matt, how do you find balance? And we'll go Nick, and then we're going back to you, Cole, because these boys right here, they're on deck. They're ready to go. What do you do for balance, Matt?
I'm slow. I crank out like 1 video a month. A lot of people ask, like, how's it going? How are you doing? So I'm like, I'm doing as much as I can do. There's just not enough hours in the day. Like, I have all these videos in my head I want to get out. It's just hard doing it, because I've got to be the dad, the husband, the teacher, the YouTuber. So I'm slow at cranking them out. If I get 1 out a month, if I get 2 out a month, I'm doing awesome. So I try to crank 1 out a month is kind of what I go for there. But yeah, me and my 3 kids. Nick, how many kids did you say you have?
I've got 3.
You got 3. You're tied with me. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine are a little younger. I've got 6, 4, and 2. It's
that's even more time.
Yeah, it's a great, and they're all at home. Well, my oldest is actually at kindergarten at my school now, and so he goes every other week. But yeah, it's thankfully my wife has been able to stay home and be mom and homeschool and everything, daycare instructor, like the whole 9 yards. I would not want her job.
Are we the same person?
Yeah, it's
my wife stays home, the homeschools, does the exact same thing.
Yeah,
so that's odd.
So you find a little bit of balance. You manage it. You can only get 1 video a month, sometimes 2 if we're lucky, right? But the premium quality of it is there. Like, there is, I think the standard is there. Everybody knows Bowman is the standard. Whether you knew that or not, Bowman, you put the bar up real high. I think it's at 7 feet. Sometimes
I put a lot of hours to get that quality standard. And I listened to your podcast on Corey Martin, where is he, by the way? And he's like, "Oh, I can crank one out in like 5 hours." And my wife's like, "He can do it in 5 hours."
On his phone.
On his phone too.
On his iPhone.
I know.
That's amazing. Like, he needs to get here, because that is amazing that he cranks that out on his iPhone. I can't believe that.
His quality's only been getting better. I've been consistently talking to him every couple of days now, and giving ideas back and forth. But he just works a different level than I do. But Nick, how do you keep the balance before we rotate to Cole?
Oh man, it's a grind. It's the same, probably about the same as Bowman. Teaching, being a dad, trying to, the hard thing for me is, like, in the time that I make to be with my family and my kids, to actually be present, because, like, I'll have all of these, like, projects moving around in my head, and and I love, because, like, my kids can get, like, really involved in it. Like, my 4-year-old last night was like, jumping on the trampoline in the living room. And he's like, Dad, what if I was like a monster and I was like jumping and spinning like this and like making these noises? And so it's fun when I'm able to bring them into it. But I also like just try to remind myself, like, okay, like it can't be all PE games all the time. Like, let's talk to them about what they're interested in. And so that's kind of the struggle, is like being able to like push all of my ideas out to the side, just write it down, and then like forget about it for a while, so that I can just really enjoy raising my kids, and then come back to it when they're asleep, and get up and start it over in the morning.
That's awesome, bro. I mean, it's the one piece of advice that I give to anybody anytime they travel, because I've traveled a lot all over the world, been to Ireland many times, been in the Netherlands, and people are like, what do you recommend? Like, I'm gonna go to London, then I'm gonna go to Spain, then I'm gonna go here, and then this. And I'm like, don't worry about the next air flight. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about tonight's meal. Worry about where you're at right now. Like, because when that breakfast is gone, you're never going to have the opportunity for that breakfast ever again. Make sure it's something that you really excite yourself for. Make sure you're pumped up and you're like, this is what I came out here for, like, and it might not be in this fancy hotel or a fancy restaurant, but you might get a real street food experience and you're like, that was awesome. I've traveled and every time I go somewhere, I was like, what's the brewery? I'm going to go out there and enjoy myself. Like, what's the distillery? Because, I got to go play. But go ahead, Cole. How do you keep the balance? What do you got going?
I really don't. That's where I struggle. That's probably one of my biggest weaknesses. That's kind of how my parents, instead of giving me meds when I, had a little ADD as a kid, it was, here's 10 projects, so you got a million fires, and that's how you got to deal with it. So that's kind of been my coping mechanism for my whole life, is just to have a million things going on. And I can that's why the coordinated chaos of the gym is kind of where I thrive, because you don't have any downtime. You've got a million things going on. You got 5 different groups doing different things. And it's, that's where I'm hyper focused. So in the middle of chaos, when I've got a million things, that's sometimes where my strongest time, that's where my strengths shine. But also it does end up biting me in the butt, because it will burn you out, and you'll go through those slumps of, I need to hibernate for a whole week now because I've had 4 hours of sleep for 3 weeks in a row and running 5 different jobs. It will kill you. And I've had medical issues with it in the past. So there's things that you really, some really wake up calls that I'm getting married in a few months. And so I know I'm going to have to find that balance, and really take it serious, because it'll end up, I mean, we're all joking about it, but it can cause some serious things. And I mean, that's a great point to drive home, George, is really just to focus on the now, in the here and the now, because I am able to do that when I'm traveling, kind of like you were saying. I'll always, and that's what does help me maintain a little balance, is having something in the future that I look forward to, like a national park trip or a hike I've been wanting to do for a while, a new ski resort that I want to go. Even though that's more stuff, for me, when I'm on those trips, that's the presence, the quiet of the plane ride, the quiet of the car ride, the putting headphones on, just listening to music and going down the mountain. That's where I find my peace. So that's, it's a little bit different than I think than a lot of people, but that is part of my balance. And I know it's going to change a lot when I have kids in a few years, and I've got to be a husband and the father like these other guys are. So that's something where I can learn a lot from you guys, because that's been a cycle of mine, is to go all in a million different lanes and then spread myself way too thin. And then it ends up I'm overextended and I'm killing myself over it.
Well,
but so you're ready though, Cole, because that's what parenthood is it's overextending yourself in all these directions, and you're ready.
And if you got to sleep with kids in your bed too, or when they have a bad dream or they're sick or something, you got to throw that in there. You're tired, but somebody's going to kick you all night.
Well, just expect that whatever sickness is going around, you're going to get it twice. One from school and one from whatever's at home. Welcome into the beautiful conversation. We have the man, the myth, the legend, the Corey Martin, baseball coach, video creator, and PE teacher. Go ahead, introduce yourself to the boys.
Chase Master.
Sorry, I'm a little late. I had without going into too much detail, I had another Zoom meeting that I had to jump onto, so I apologize.
Hey, we're not stressed out about it, Corey.
Oh, George, I know you're as relaxed as they come, buddy.
So could you go ahead and Matt, could you tell Corey what you wanted to tell him? You know, PE Bowman, Matt. He
Yeah.
wants to tell you some stuff, Corey.
Well, I was just listening to your podcast, and my wife made the comment that you do it in 5 hours, crank out a video. And I take forever. He's like, he does it in 5 hours on his phone. And I struggled. I'm on a brand new computer, got a 4K monitor, 28-inch monitor, and you're doing it all on your phone. I'm blown away by that. Like, my respect level that you're pulling off these amazing videos on your phone, and multiple, like you're coming out with multiple a week. It's insane. It's very impressive.
Look, I'm gonna be I'll admit you guys have much better editing skills and graphic design work than me. I was telling that to both you guys have much better graphic design. I'm impressed. I'm blown away by what you guys can create as far as like the graphic design work. Cause that's like a whole nother level than what I can do on my cell phone, buddy.
Well, we got some other people in the room. We got Coach Meger. Cole, did you have anything you wanted to ask Corey? He just fresh into the conversation. What should we ask this guy?
Well, it's the same thing. Me and Corey talk quite a bit, a few times a week. So we talked about a lot of this stuff, but it's kind of like to piggyback off of what Matt said. That's the biggest curiosity I still have about Corey is using Kinemaster on your phone and using all those heavy files from the motion array and Envato elements that are sometimes gigs per graphic. So you're rendering 200, 300 gig files, or I'm assuming they are, on your phone. So what kind of iPhone do you have? How are you able to pull that off? And because I know earlier when we met, you were saying it was taking you about 8 to 10 hours sometimes. So just getting better and better. But what's the actual on a typical chase video now that you've got your process down? Kind of, I guess, just explain a little bit of that to us, because I think all of us are really interested, and anybody tuning at home for sure.
Yeah, so my biggest struggle with using like motion array and Envato elements, and like you said, those massive files, the biggest struggle is the alpha aspect, like being able to make the background transparent. So what I have to do it's a Samsung is what I use to create the videos, because Kinemaster doesn't support any of those .mov files, surprisingly. So what I have to do is I have a video converter on my phone that converts all those videos to MP4, and when that happens, you lose the alpha, you lose the transparency of the background. So then within Kinemaster, usually the backgrounds will still show up as just like a plain black image. So I'll have to do the what's it called?
Keying.
The chroma key in Kinemaster and set it to take out the black color, which sometimes can get tricky if you're trying to keep some of the other black parts of the image, not to get too complex. But I guess what I'm saying is, in order to shrink a lot of those files and make it much more doable on a phone, I use the video converter. So it's not the highest quality graphic that it could possibly be, if that makes sense.
Oh, I've played that game too. I did that with my old software. I've upgraded everything now. So now Alpha Channel doesn't give me any problems, but I had to do the same thing, reformat it because I couldn't do MOV files, then chroma key out the black or the white or whatever it was there. And I'd always use like the eyes or the pupils. I'd lose something.
You find that graphic that you have to use. No matter what, you're going to figure out a way to make it work. So you're converting this, convert that, change this, shrink this. It's a mess, but yeah, it doesn't. If I sat down and focused on it, which takes a lot, it's not easy to sit there and focus on a phone screen for 5 hours at a time. So I'll break it up. I'll do like an hour here, and then the next day I'll do an hour. Then if I can improve, I don't want to stop, I might work on it for 2 or 3 hours. But usually, we have teacher work days on Fridays, and I'm creating content for our virtual kids on Fridays, and that's actually how I got started with the YouTube stuff. Is I had Fridays to work on virtual academy stuff, and then when they started going, taking off on YouTube, I was like, oh wow, this is kind of cool. It kind of works out best case scenario for me.
Very nice.
My kids, but it benefits kids everywhere.
Yeah, Corey, I was thinking that also as you're playing it on your cell phone, let's say you have that downloaded MOV file, you could just screen record it and then chroma key it from there with the transparent background. Play with that if you get a chance and see if it might work for certain videos. And then you can play with that and just see. I think one day, legit, I'm going to have either have all of us on here one day, and Matt Bowman's gonna just walk us through
Well,
his process, and then one day we'll have Cole go through his process, and then Nick will go through your process, and we'll all be able to be like plug in and play out, and like you'd be like, hey, I need you to do this, and I'll be like, all right, I'll do it for you for a little bit, and then send it back your way. And I think it'd be like a little creator studio kind of thing, and we can have a lot of fun doing that. You know, is anybody interested in that?
Sounds good to me. I have a question for Nick right now. I told you I was doing your odd man out workout, and just from what I know from my video editing, I'm pushing the one I'm working on now, 20 layers of video in my scenes. But I'm looking at your odd man out, and you have, I think, 60. I counted 60 clips of you doing the exercise at different timings and different scales, and then you got your title graphics and your background graphics. Are you running like 60 layers at a time? How are you doing that?
It's a little nuts. Actually, I didn't run as many layers as I did on in Paradise Valley. Like in level 2, we've got the dragon, and then I've got like all of the lightsaber stuff with like the balls coming at you at like really fast, and all of those overlap each other. And like I had to go back and fix something, and I literally had a stack that I had to like scroll up. Thankfully I work on 2 screens, so I don't know how Corey does it on an. I've like days where I would work on my laptop without a second screen. I was like, I got to the point where I was like, I just need to go. There we go. I just need to go
a giant monitor
and pick up another monitor so that I can. Like I just have to work on 2 screens. But so in Odd One Out, what I did, and this thing like literally, the game almost broke my computer, and I got a brand new computer. So I would do that in motion, where I would be able to like make clones of myself. So I was able to make a grid, and then basically I just made it like a green screen behind it, and then I would just take like a little green square and put that over whichever one I was gonna, get rid of. And so all it was I would export it from Motion as like I don't remember what it was, maybe 10-15 second video, where it was all green, and then mine was like an alpha silhouette, so it was like black. And then I would bring it into Final Cut, and then I would like mix it with some other colors so that we get that colored element, and then I add like the dust, and then color the dust and whatnot. But yeah, that wasn't near as crazy as Paradise Valley was when it comes to the layers.
What computer are you doing it on?
So I got a MacBook Pro, and I bought this thing right before, literally like, I don't know, 4 weeks before they released like the M1 Max. And so then I debated sending it back, but I had spent all the time like putting everything on this computer and getting ready to run it. And I was like, it's not really going to be that big of a difference. But this thing's awesome. I haven't touched my work computer since I got this one, and it's fantastic.
How many gigs do you have on it? Do you have 32? Do you go big 64?
I did like the
gigs of RAM.
I upgraded everything. Like, so from stock when I ordered it, I've got like the top of the line video card. I'm pretty sure I maxed out on RAM. I didn't max out on the hard drive, which was a mistake. Because some of these videos, when I put them together in Final Cut, like just like all the rendering scenes, I have to just like delete them. And I mean, I've had some projects that were like 700 gigabytes, like by the time that I was done, just all the rendering files that it does. And yeah, so my savior has been this like external 2 terabyte flash drive, and that's what I run. Like all my elements are saved on there, and there's been days where I forgot to bring that with me, and it was rough.
Corey's just scared of the amount of data that we can go through.
700 gigabyte file.
Well, so the way that Final Cut works is like every time that you like undo something, like it saves all of those iterations, and if you don't like clear it out, it just gets ridiculous. So when I delete everything that I'm not using, from the video. Like I can go from like 700 gigabytes down to like maybe 80, but I also like all of my videos are like 4K when I put them on my website.
Those are big.
And then I'll put them in like 1080p on YouTube, but I build them in 4K, which might be a mistake.
I've been too scared of 4K. I haven't gone there yet. I'm still 1080.
I ran into that same thing that Nick did with the first time I talked about my scatterbrain ADD process of coming up with an idea and doing the first 25 minutes of fitness episode. And that file was almost a terabyte. Just because of the same thing. It actually melted my MacBook. I bought a new refurbished MacBook with a 2 terabyte hard drive, and it fried it. And so I was able to recover the files, and I got a new one, and then that laptop crashed, same thing. So then I bought the M1, and since then it's been awesome. But like he was saying, if you can get one of those lightning port, multi terabyte hard drives, external hard drives, and just edit off of that just to keep your project files on, that helps so much on not having to clear stuff off of your main computer and your hard drive, and using that as an editing hard drive has changed the game for me in the last couple months.
Corey had something to say. Go ahead, Corey.
Saying my biggest file size, my 30-minute video where I combined the first 6 chase episodes, that file size was maybe like 950 megabytes. I've never had a file over a gig. But I don't go above 720p.
You don't go over 720p? I've been able to render out at 4K on Kinemaster. The one nightmare about Kinemaster, and I'm gonna tell you boys, if you ever want to play with it, there's no copying 2 items at the same time. You have to duplicate every item by itself, drag it by itself, and you can't put it to a specific time frame. Like you can't put it for 55 seconds, 0.3. It's like you have to like play with it and drag it to the area that you want it at, and then you can hope that it's like lined up. Or there's ways to mimic it. Like you go to the end of this clip and then you can drag it to the end of that clip. But sometimes that doesn't work out. And then you can like zoom in pretty deep. Kinemaster is its own animal. And I think the master of the Kinemaster is Corey. Corey, it could be very finicky, right?
But it's honestly the only app that I've used to video edit, so I can't compare to anything else. But I love Kinemaster. I'm so invested in it. I don't think I would. I talked to Nick about looking into other platforms, but I don't think I could do it at this point. I think I'm just ride or die by Kinemaster. If they delete the app out of the App Store, I'm probably screwed.
You just need to upgrade to like an iPad or the big Samsung. I forget what it's called.
Crazy. This is crazy. It blew my mind. This past weekend, I was looking around on Amazon trying to find a Samsung tablet, the most powerful Samsung tablet that I could find. And my phone, my Galaxy S20 Plus, is still more powerful than the most powerful Samsung tablet that I could find.
Didn't know that.
I think he's gonna live and die by the Samsungs. Samsung till Corey dies, all the way through.
Corey's pushing for that Samsung brand deal to come through.
2 companies that if either one of these companies go bankrupt, I'm screwed. Samsung and then Kinemaster.
So they just released a new update. Obviously, Corey's seen it because he's always on the app, but it actually looks a little bit more cute, I would say. But it doesn't change any of the hard working things. But let's rotate back to something a little bit crazier, a little bit more relaxed. What do you guys do the last couple of weeks of PE for the end of the school year? What is like the go-tos end of the year, either big team activities, either you got some tax sheet and they got to do all these things, or what do you got? Let's go with Corey first, because he hasn't had a chance to answer too much.
We do like an Olympics type deal. So I'm a big team sports guy. We do soccer, we do basketball, we do beach ball. We don't do regular volleyball. I'm sure you guys have experience in trying regular volleyball with elementary school. This doesn't work. So we do beach ball instead. Anyways, and a few other sports, floor hockey. And we do like a big Olympics event at the end of the year where kids get in teams. We have tournament brackets. I'm all about teaching the kids how to win and lose. George and I, we talked about this the other day. And the kids love it. They eat it up. So that's pretty much how we'll end the year. And then field day, which isn't going to be traditional this year, which is sad, but that's mainly it for me.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead. Nick, what do you got?
So our last day of school is always our field day. So it's kind of just, we do field day in the morning, and then we have lunch, and then we send the kids home, and then we have a staff party, and it's awesome. But we're actually not going to be able to have a field day this year. I mean, we just went back to school so late in the game and we have like our state testing that like our last 2 weeks of school. So like they're actually doing their state testing on their last day of school. And so in the afternoons, we're just kind of like all school, like just whole party. We call it, it'll just be turn up week, where we're just whatever we can do to get the kids like just excited about coming and getting their testing done and doing their best. And then just party the rest of the day. However that ends up looking, I don't even know yet.
I've been to those 100% attendant parties, where you get 100% attendance all week. Everybody that had that attendance, they get to go to this huge party. I mean, whatever works. I mean, attendance is key for us to be successful. I mean, that's where we get our money. So we always want the kids to show up. I always tell the kids, hey, you don't show up, you don't get to have fun. Cole, what do you do leading up to the end of the year? What do you got?
Kind of the same thing as everybody, a lot of lead up games for field day. So with our youngers, our K-3, we'll do a lot of station work and teach, stage 1 or stage 2, the builds for some of our in-goal field day games. So we'll do the basis and the foundation to kind of pre-teach the kids of how to play those games, so that when it does come time to play the actual game on field day, they don't have to have someone there coaching them through it and talking them through it. I don't know how big everyone's campuses is, but my campus is about 800 kids, and we're about 50% bilingual. So, and we're a little understaffed right now. So it gets a little hectic trying to run events that big with, a population as diverse as ours without the support staff for it. So it gets a little crazy sometimes at the end. So we really try to teach those lead up games to get our kids prepped for the field day, to make them have, or to help them have that fun experience on the field day. So, and then after field day, we'll kind of try and pay attention to those games that they really enjoyed for the younger kids. And then we'll build off of those even further from field day as stations. So we'll usually I get 3 classes at a time. So we'll have 1 class on each station. So we'll have 3 stations per week going. And then that's kind of how we'll build out for our K-3. And then 4 and 5, we'll do something called Ninja Warrior obstacle course. So we'll have a same thing. I'll build them up every week. There's a different obstacle course where they're having relay races. And then after that, we'll do tag games for the last week of school usually. So we do a lot of tag stuff with my 4th and 5th. Last week.
I mean, that's a good subject. After Matt goes, we could just go our favorite tag game. Go ahead, Matt. What do you do last lead ups, the last couple of weeks, and rotations, and what do you got lined up?
Well, I'm going to tell you I don't currently do it anymore, but I'm going to tell you my favorite one. So, I'm in my 3rd school, third building, same school, 17 years, 3rd building for this school. And what I used to do, I was year round. And so I only had July off for the summer. So the whole month of June, my schedule's changed. I'm not like that anymore. The whole month of June, I would do a talent show. And we'd make these groups of, anywhere from 2 to 6 people is my max. And we just practice and work on choreography. And I had a stage in my gym. I don't have a stage anymore. I don't go to school in June anymore. So I just kind of cut it out. But we'd practice. And then I would go big. I always go big. So I control all the lights, pull the curtains. I mean, it looked just like whatever show, like America's Got Talent. We did The Voice. I sat in my desk chair and I'd spin around, and it was big. We had parents coming in for the talent show, recorded it. I made these little like dance remix videos of everybody's talent show. They're amazing. If I could, I'd put it on YouTube, but I can't. There's just too many kids involved and too many things. But I mean, it was fun. And I meet kids now that they're in their 20s, and the one thing they remember from elementary school is, oh, that talent show. We won that talent show when I was in 5th grade. We did all this. So that's my favorite all time that I used to do at the end of the year, that month of June, when nobody wanted to be in school anymore. So I'm like, all right, we're working on dance, working on choreography, working on this teamwork, making a plan, and then we're doing it. So that's my all-time favorite. Field day, of course, like everybody else, but I gotta say my talent show was the best.
It's legit. I remember, because I was at the same school for 5 years, and then now I'm at this school for 1 year. But the biggest thing that I was doing, I was able to get my kids to that 100-mile mark. I had my 100-mile club. I had like 500 kids in it, and I'd have kids, I'd be like, pull them out of class for like maybe 5 laps. If they were like within 10 laps of that 100-mile, we're going to get there. We're going to get that shirt for you or whatever, you know. And then I was able to move their pictures. So in the cafeteria, they had the 25-mile club, 50-mile club, 75, 100. I mean, had a guy up at 200. I mean, that guy was a stud. I mean, and he did it multiple years, you know, 4th and 5th grade. But just like that was a big thing for me to finish off with that. And then we did a bunch of big team game activities, you know, like we used to do team keep away. The goal was to get 10 passes without the other team stealing the ball, and then we'd rotate other teams in. So before we continue, let's go ahead and speak to our little guest over here, Mr. Williamson. Go ahead, introduce yourself, little man. Oh, you're on mute.
I got my headphones in, so I don't know if he can hear you here. Hang on, let me that. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
This is my middle child. And what's your favorite PE game? No? Okay.
There's a lot of pressure right there.
Oh yeah.
So
they decided to come visit me in the dungeon.
The dungeon? Yeah. Hey, like, what's your favorite? Does your dad make some good videos? What's your favorite video?
Is there one that you like?
Snow Fright.
Oh, Snow Fright.
It's a great one.
That's
Fantastic. I heard it's Pixar.
Yeah.
Right.
That was for those of you guys. So I had a kid comment on that YouTube video. He goes, "This is like a low budget Pixar. It's great." I was like, that might be the nicest thing somebody's ever said to me.
For real.
That's a great compliment.
Yeah.
Oh man, the way the kids comment on YouTube is so funny to me. Oh man.
You know who gets the most feedback?
Credit.
Corey gets a lot of feedback. What's the coolest comment you got, Corey?
Man, I mean, good, bad, ugly, great, you name it. I've had some profanities. I'm sure, you know, if you guys have comments on your videos, you probably get some profanities thrown your way too. Anything and everything. I'm always asking kids for suggestions, so I get some very off the wall suggestions, but that's how my brain works too, so I can't judge that. But hey, I gotta tell you guys, this is funny. It's a crazy coincidence. Before I knew anybody here, before I talked to any of you guys or had any interaction, we first went virtual in March of 2020, like everybody else. And we were doing PE through a computer, and I'm trying to think of ways, you know, how can I get these kids engaged? And I think the first thing that I ever did on YouTube was the river and the bank. And this is before, like I said, before I even talked to any of you guys, the river and the bank. And my kids were so into it. Okay, man, I need to start searching on YouTube for some more things like this. And then I believe it was one of Meger's 25 minutes of fitness videos. And then finally it was the Level Up game by Matt. And when I watched my kids do Level Up for the first time, and I tell this to everybody, by the way, not just here. Actually, I was before I came on here, I was talking to the local news. There was some technology for teachers thing. And I brought up, they asked how it got started. And well, Level Up, if you really want to know, like what first got me started making videos was watching my students through a Zoom meet play Level Up. And then the next day they're like, hey, is there another Level Up? And I think you just put out Level Up 2. And so that's when I'm like, man, I got to learn how to do this. If I want to keep up with times and be as good as I can be during COVID with teaching virtual PE, I have to learn how to do this. So that's all three of you guys. That's how I got started. So I just think that's a crazy coincidence.
I got to send you a Level Up t-shirt.
I got one kid that would probably cry if I gave it to him.
I'll have to send you a few then.
Yeah.
Matt, do you print on demand, or do you like print them and then just hold on to them and then ship them out yourself?
No, Threadless.com runs all my store for me. I don't do anything. You go to Threadless and they print it, ship it. They do it all. Like, yeah, my profit's like this big because they do it all.
There goes Matt's commercial right there. They print it, they ship it, you know.
Yeah.
Threadless.com. Threadless is great.
Well,
they were all of my t-shirts in college and after was Threadless shirts.
Well,
high quality.
Here's my thing too. This is where you guys are different than me, and I have to say I'm a little jealous. I can't turn comments on because I make my videos with my children. So all my videos are deemed YouTube for kids. So I have 0 comments.
Well,
And I can't comment on any of my stuff. And I know once you get enough subscribers, you can get your own little t-shirt bar and do all that through Teespring. YouTube does Teespring. But I can't put that on my channel either because my kids' content. So that's why I have to go threadless.
PE Bowman might have to make some other videos with just the parents. I mean, that would be the versus part 2.
Yeah. Well,
that's the next video. We're all gonna dress up like his kids and then get in front of the green screen.
So what's the craziest comment you've ever had, Cole?
I was the same way as Matt. Most of my stuff, I have probably about 70% of my stuff marked as made for kids, so I don't have as much of that feedback. But same thing as Corey said, you got a lot of kids with sharing some stuff that you don't necessarily want to hear or see, or you got to delete from it or moderate a lot of those comments. But some of the best stuff is really just probably the most recent comment that I got from one was one I did with my fiance, the Gingerbread Mountain remix that I made with Matt Wood, who's another awesome guy we need to get on here at some point. And it was an older girl, high school girl, that was commenting, "I'm just over here stuck doing my algebra homework, and my little brother is over to the left, sweating and smiling, having so much fun to this video." So anytime where you can get feedback, knowing that kids saw something at home or saw something at school and they go do it at home again, that's something where, you really reached through the computer and done something that it really truly engaged the kids. And I think that's where Corey and you guys shine the most, is y'all have really reached that kids audience to where they really, 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 they'll see something, almost the Dude Perfect effect of, they'll go see it one time and then they share it with all their friends and they go watch it at home 10 more times. And so I'm trying to figure out how I need to get back into that interactive piece again and stop just marketing to the teachers and school districts and get a little bit more of the fun and get into those kids too.
That's what my new video coming out. It's about home. You're using a couch. So it's meant to be done more at home than at school. But yeah, I mean, if you're virtual, you can do it. You can do it at school too as well. But I'm trying to tap into the home market and getting kids to do my stuff on the weekends. Because I'm sure you guys all look at your Google Analytics for your YouTube channel. Like I spike Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. Spike Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm trying to bring up my Saturday, Sunday. Like everything's going down now. The weather's getting nice. But in the winter, I was doing 50 to 70,000 views a day on school days, and falling down to about 20,000 on the weekends. So I'm trying to get that weekend number up. Like you said, get it so they can do it outside of school. So I'm trying to tap into that market as well.
Oh, before we rotate to the next idea that I have for all of you boys, I had a comment from an ex-student of mine. She was subscribed to me. So I rotated to my new school, and I was just like, that was nice that a student of mine still thinks of me, and I had a really fantastic relationship with her and her siblings and her parents. And it was just a lot of fun to have people reach out. Even if I moved on, they still think about you, and that's like you said, Matt, that talent show, that running club, whatever it was, if people just think about you in any fashion, it's just a blessing to just have that ability. But I gave this idea to Cole, and he's just gonna have to be okay that I'm sharing it with all you boys. And this is your next thing, is you're gonna have a QR code printed on a little piece of paper, and you give it to each of your kids, and that's their homework for the weekend. And it's just a link to, I don't know, whatever video that you think, or maybe you make a three video playlist, and you got to rotate and sprinkle in the guys in here, and the kids and then they can leave some feedback like, hey, this is the best one of the weekend, or this is my favorite one, or this is the one that challenged me the most. Whatever it is you want the feedback to be, you just print out that QR code, and the kids, they'll do it. They got their cell phones. I mean, even if you get, like, let's just say 50% participation, and you move it up to like 70 and an 80, and then hopefully you get to 100%, it'd be kind of an interesting challenge for the kids. You guys got any other ideas that you guys would
Yeah.
like?
So when you mentioned that, that's that's kind of where I was hoping that everything would go with. And it's kind of crazy how, like, just the timing that COVID happened. Because I remember sitting, hang on one second.
Balance. You gotta get that balance.
we got my youngest right here, and you just say hi to all these guys. These guys make PE videos just like me. You're gonna be shy too. Yeah, so I literally like a month before we left for spring break and then never came back, I was sitting with my assistant principal and she was talking to me about my goals and maybe what my goal was for the next year. And I said, like what I want is I want to find ways for kids to have more opportunities to move throughout the day. Like we've got some really cool opportunities in my school for kids who like, we've got, some kids with some behavior challenges and stuff like that. And they get a lot of opportunities to move. They can like go to this room and jump on a trampoline and all those things. But then there are other kids who just don't get those same opportunities because they're, sitting in their desk, sitting still all day, and they deserve that. And so like, then we go through this whole year and I made all these videos and then I made friendships with all these other guys that are making videos and these other PE teachers. And so it's so cool that I have all these opportunities for kids to move. Where your favorite car. And so, I mean, it's just as simple as like sharing those with classroom teachers so they have like more options for brain breaks. And then, like finding areas around the school where they can just go scan a QR code and, find a way to move with like their iPad or, even like if a kid gets really mad in the gym and I just need them to go like move to a separate space and do something different, they have these activities and these games that they can do where they can just go blow off some steam and then come back and just be ready for class. And so I just think it's a crazy timing that like next year when I show back up, these kids are going to have all these extra opportunities to move throughout the day, more than just recess and PE.
It's a team business effort. We should team up and make our little PE poster, and you hang these posters up around your school and you go scan your QR for, whoever you want.
There we go. I like it.
Before to a few of you guys, Go Noodles.
Cole's not gonna be able to sleep tonight with that idea.
Right, there we go. Well, my brain's already working. Oh God. Tonight, that's like a 3-week project.
Go ahead, Corey.
I was just saying, like, Go Noodles always been the golden standard for brain breaks. And when I watch kids do Go Noodle activities, and then I watch them do all the stuff that we've created, is so much like the level of interest is so much higher. Nothing against Go Noodle, it's great. But where I'm going with that is like we are almost rewriting the way that brain breaks are done. And if we can somehow all come together, which we are in a sense, but if we could all come together and have like a website or centralized locations where people can go and find all of our stuff organized if they want, activities for the fall or for the winter or for this holiday or for this sport or for that sport or for mindfulness or whatever, all in one area like you have with Go Noodle. I mean, I feel like the opportunities are endless.
I think this could be the creation of something great. I think Cole already has the Fit Flex, right? Is that you, Cole?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got that from the Netflix choice boards. A lot of people that, they've already been pushing those out forever. So just kind of wanted to put my own spin on it and not get in trouble for ripping off Netflix if I'm, putting that on my website. So just kind of switch it up. And it's just a way to share out and promote kind of everybody, kind of pay it forward for giving everybody a little bit of extra love and shout outs because I use your guys' videos all the time. I rarely use my own stuff with my kids except for the younger ones, but you guys are superstars to most of my students. So I just appreciate it. And I think it's like you guys said, the possibilities are endless with that kind of stuff.
The same here, dude. Like I use all of your guys' stuff, and they get a little hyped up, when they see some things that are a little different, and like I was telling Matt, I was like, hey, we're doing, iFoot, we're doing some soccer dribbling skills, and the kids are really like struggling because for whatever reason they had, last end of the year off, and the previous PE teacher, I don't think he was really a big soccer guy, and which is okay. Like everybody has their forte. I think he had hockey and other stuff, but like that line challenge was like
line jump workout. Yeah,
the line jump workout, the sound bites just like get you amped. Like the kids are so hyped. Like it's like they're hearing the voices that they understand. Like I think that is like the key to the Bowman success. Like I think that plus the immaculate editing. But you know what I'm saying? Like if you could like keep adding those sound effects, sometimes it's such a pain in the butt. But I think it's like, pays dividends later on because whatever way you can grab somebody's attention, whatever way you can sell your item, because in reality, we're selling health. We're selling like healthy habits. We're selling like being physically active is great, and there should be a journey, and there should be an excitement. There should be, you know, the beginning, and you get to the peak, and then there's a antithesis, and then, you know, Corey Martin does it so well. To be continued. Like, you know, that's just like he sells it just by, because they don't know what comes at the end. Like there's this like, let's predict, but we don't know. And that's I don't know, man. We're having so much fun here. Like let's go around, everybody can get a chance to maybe say something to finish this off, maybe a question or something besides giving Cole ideas, because this guy's not going to sleep ever again. So let's start off with Cole. You can go first. You know, you could go ahead.
The biggest thing I wanted to ask, since we've got everybody here, is I want to do a project over some stuff over summer with you guys. I mean, my idea board is insane. Like I'll constantly just scribbling stuff down, but kind of something I feel like I've collaborated with a lot of teachers, but only one per video. So it'd be really cool to do a project, something, whether it's a level up type game or a count to 100 workout where we each do sets of 10, or me and Matt's video, the coach edition of Versus, where we did different coaches and can kind of shout each other out and feature each other on other channels to kind of help each other grow and share the audience, and also just have fun with it and kind of help us streamline some of those ideas. I think it'd be awesome to kind of get a few of us to work together on those projects and kind of, you know, help each other expand and grow, and just kind of push each other forward and just bounce ideas.
Party.
Yeah.
Dance party. Is that what you said, Corey?
Yeah.
Your dance party.
Corey, weren't we planning something like that? Weren't you planning one?
Yeah, man. Life got crazy for me.
I can't hear you, Corey. What's up?
Here's the perfect time to do something like that. Like you celebrate something to do with going into summer, and we all come together. I think the kids would absolutely love it, especially now that we've been around for a few months, and most of the kids they'll recognize our faces and our voice and what we do.
So I think we have a project. I think the project is going to be the dance party. It's going to have to compete with the Freeze dance pop that just came out, which was just immaculate, and just like they love the little dinosaur at the end eating the subscribe button. I mean, I let that play out because it's
I told you, Nick. I told you.
It's just ridiculous.
I didn't put any subscribe anything on there until I talked to Bowman, and he's like, "You just do it. You won't regret it." And then the dinosaur eating the subscribe button. I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna have something that's kind of humorous. But at the end of Freeze Dance Pop, the funny thing about that is, I don't know if you guys have all seen it, but at the end, this like robot just keeps on dancing and the music has stopped, and like, you know, I've got my dinosaur eating the subscribe button. Well, I took that part off like on my website, and like all the kids at my school were like, "What? Where's the robot dancing at the end?" And like they were all up in arms about this little ridiculous bit that I just did to be funny on YouTube. They were all up in arms, so I put it back on there. So now it's on my website.
So no, I mean, sorry, Corey, you have the idea. We're doing it. All right. I mean, if everybody's in, I'm in. Matt, are you in?
Yes, I got all the time in the world in summer.
Nick?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do what I can to pitch in for sure. And the nice thing with like a dance party thing is that you can kind of have separate elements in there that kind of bring in the different styles of what we all bring to the table. So that's almost perfect.
I think we could do a little chase mini series in the middle. I think the kids.
Well, I would break it up. I'd break the dance party up with like, okay, during the first break, you got Nick throwing water balloons at you, or during the second break, you got Matt punching beach balls at you. You know, mix it up somehow.
I'm down. We have time. We have no money, and we have lots of ability, right?
Creative resources.
So let's go ahead. I think Cole had a chance to wrap up today. Nick, what would you like to say to wrap up today?
Oh man, I mean, really just admire all the work you guys put out there. I mean, you guys have allowed me to create just because I've been able to, like, you know, push your guys' assignments to my kids, and that way I don't have to just entirely rely on the stuff that I make, because I would never be able to fill my classes with that. And actually it's been really cool with some people like Corey reached out to me, and just being able to, like, this next week I recorded for like my kids that are 100% virtual. I've been able to like tell them stories about the creator of the video, which I think is really cool. And I actually shared Corey's Mike Trout story with some of my kids this week, because I was talking about I don't even remember what I was talking about, but it fit in. We were doing some chase videos. I was like, let me tell you a story about the guy who made this. And I'm sure he wants everybody to know this story, but.
Oh, Matt, you gotta watch Matt and Cole. You gotta watch the other one that's coming out this weekend. So we can't give you all the answers. Just know that there's a Mike Trout story.
Yeah.
All right, because I think it was just the three of us. It was Nick and Cole, or Corey and I, and we had a blast. Corey, would you like to say something?
Yeah, man. I just like everybody else saying, I appreciate all you guys. It's been a journey that if you were to ask me a year ago, if you thought I would be where I'm at now, I'd say there's no way. It's crazy, but I'm here because of all of you guys. And I have to know, Matt, you still play hoops or what?
I just got eliminated from my league on Sunday night. But I will tell you this. I dunked Sunday night at age 40. And so I'm pumped about it. It was ugly. It doesn't look like anything in my dunk video from before, but I dunked at 40. And there's these young guys dunking. What's that?
I love it. How tall?
I am 6'1.5" to be exact. And I tell my students I'm 6'2" with my shoes on.
Yeah, that's impressive. I would say I'm 6 foot and still able to dunk like that. That's even more impressive.
I got rim checked with the youth ball 27-incher this week. So yeah, you got me beat.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it up. I want to play, get into sports in the summertime when I have free time. So I'm gonna try to maintain my vertical, because if I don't train or play, I lose it. Especially the older you get to. At age 40, you stop. It's like, woo, my vertical is gone.
Matt, besides always talking about how you miss your youth body, what else would you like to tell the people? Because I mean, if they made it this far, you got to have something for them.
Yeah. I'm still stuck on my youth story. Sorry. But yes, it's fun. Everybody brings it up because they see my videos on YouTube. Everybody brings it up, but put that in the past. That's old now. I'm a family man.
Here, I got a question for you. You can answer this. How many objects can you balance that are spinning at one time? That's my question to you. 5. You can't do 6?
I haven't tried.
Well, then let's do it. I want to see it. I know you can do it.
When I was in high school, that's when I did 5. And that one video I did 4. But I built this like little platform and had nails pop up. And if I stick it on a nail, that ball spins forever. So I could probably, as long as I can keep that ball spinning. The bad thing is that nail pretty much drills a hole into the basketball, but it keeps it going for a long time.
Yes.
Anyhow, to close it off, I'll say my favorite thing about YouTube and this whole process is just meeting people, all sorts of people from around the world. That's why when I made my website, I had to put that page, Worldwide Impact. It's a little globe. You go there and it leaves a little mark on my page. You can see the outreach of PE Bowman. It's been fun meeting people from everywhere. Like tonight, this has been awesome. I want to do this again. It's been fun meeting Nick, Cole, Corey, George. You guys have been awesome. There's a few more people I would like to add to this list too to meet, but I think just meeting everybody, getting to know people from all different walks and backgrounds, kind of like you said, George, that's the best part. That's how I wrap it up. It's just, meeting everybody, seeing everybody and realize exercise brings everybody together. Exercise is one thing that whether you speak the same language or not, we can all move our bodies and do the same thing together. So that's awesome.
They say you can learn a lot about somebody that you play a game with real quick, how they react, all the good or bad, and areas to improve. I appreciate you boys 100% from the bottom of my heart. I tell my wife when she understands, what it is that I do, I like to speak a lot and spend a lot of social time with a lot of different people. By the time it's Friday night, I'm drained. Like I have nothing in the tank. Nick seen me there, and it's just like that is how I love living, and I have no regrets, and I just know that we will continue to help each other develop as human beings, and that's my goal with this channel. Like I have nothing else but to just help people develop and answer questions and create questions. You know what? We're going to keep on doing it, and we're going to get better. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you so much for listening, whoever's listening.